Watch this data hit a wall. Over the last 10 years, enterprises have poured millions into massive systems of record and beautiful BI dashboards. They built incredibly fast pipelines to move all this information. Yet when it comes down to the actual moment of decision, pricing a product, scheduling a production line, or allocating inventory, operations leaders are still exporting that expensive data into fragile, manual spreadsheets. This creates a constant, massive EBITDA leak. There's a costly, manual gap between data arriving and the organization executing the optimal move. To fix this, the market proposed a new category, the autonomous decision layer. These are continuous optimization models that ingest real-world constraints and automatically decide the next best action. But executives hesitate. Buying wall-to-wall enterprise AI triggers flashbacks to massive, bloated, multi-year consulting projects that failed to deliver ROI. OptiU tackles this deployment risk directly. Instead of pitching a monolithic transformation, they force buyers through a rigid engagement ladder, a structured sequence of micro-engagements. This matrix illustrates the shift. Left, systems of record present charts, leaving users frustrated. Right, OptiU's decision layer drives automated actions. It builds upward. You start at the bottom with a diagnostic and systematically prove value before touching enterprise-wide scale. Every operational pane has a corresponding entry point on this map. We'll identify exactly which rung fits your situation, ensuring you avoid a procurement trap. Here is the OptiU entry tab. Your correct starting point depends entirely on your system pane and buyer profile. We'll trace 4 distinct paths: ERP fatigue, private equity, acute crisis, and spreadsheet heavy. We'll start with the ERP fatigue branch. This is for mid-market leaders running NetSuite, SAP, or D365 who are exhausted by lagging reports. The play here is the Opti Decision Rescue Bundle, running $50,000 to $100,000 over 8 to 10 weeks. The outcome is a deployed autonomous optimization model that sits cleanly on top of your existing ERP. It prescribes answers to the operational questions your ERP fails to support, without requiring you to replace the underlying system. But consider the trade-off. This gives you immediate automated decision execution, but it acts as a band-aid. It will not fix a broken or messy data architecture hidden deep within your legacy systems. You are consciously trading a deep architectural overhaul for fast, functional decision automation right now. Moving to the private equity branch, this targets operating partners looking for repeatable EBITDA creation plays across their holdings. The product here is the Portfolio EBITDA Diagnostic. In 4 to 6 weeks, OptiU evaluates 3 to 5 portfolio companies simultaneously. At the end, you get a cross-portfolio synthesis, highlighting the top 3 highest return models to deploy for each company. Cautionary: the vulnerability is operational friction. This play requires you to wrangle distinct management teams all at once. If a single portfolio company resists the timeline or drags their feet on data access, the whole parallel process bottlenecks. This rung offers incredible leverage for a fund, but its success relies entirely on your political capital to force rapid compliance across autonomous companies. Looking at the acute crisis branch, this is for enterprises facing an immediate threat, like a massive supply shock, a geopolitical event, or a total ERP outage. This is the war room sprint. OptiU actively compresses what would normally be months of analytical workflow into a brutal, non-stop 72-hour period. The deliverable is a live decision simulator and an optimized action plan to navigate the disruption. The trade-off is steep. You pay a premium price point of $75,000 to $150,000, and it demands exhausting, continuous weekend and overnight focus from your internal executive team. The War Room is a highly effective tool for acute operational triage. It is entirely inappropriate as a starting point if you are just looking for a casual digital transformation. Finally, we arrive at the spreadsheet-heavy branch. This is the most universal entry path for operations heavily reliant on manual planning. The tool is the Spreadsheet-to-AOM sprint. The scope is deliberately narrow. You commit 2 to 3 weeks to replace a single mission-critical spreadsheet with a deployed working web app. The requirement here is hard proof. The sprint must demonstrate a tangible 5 to 15% KPI improvement using your own live data in your own environment. By intentionally constraining the scope, you drastically lower your financial risk. However, this inherently delays enterprise-wide optimization. You cannot scale until this initial pilot proves out. This rung forces discipline. It demands irrefutable proof of ROI before the organization commits the capital required for a larger platform shift. Pulling back, we see OptiU's strategic purpose. It functions as an elegant procurement mechanism designed to de-risk massive enterprise software purchases. This quadrant chart plots an organization's readiness for change on the y-axis against their operational complexity on the x-axis. Highlighting the top right quadrant, we find the ideal customers. These are operations with complex constraint problems: refineries, healthcare scheduling, logistics networks. In these environments, a mere 5% optimization pays for the software 10 times over. Shifting to the bottom left quadrant, we see who should avoid OptiU entirely. If you just need basic BI visualizations, or if your culture is unwilling to cede control of legacy spreadsheets to an automated model, this will fail. OptiU is built exclusively for skeptical executives who demand to pay for proof before they ever pay for a platform. There is one final financial mechanic to understand. Any fees you pay for an early diagnostic or sprint are fully credited toward a final suite deployment, provided you sign within 90 days. While that structure makes your entry effectively risk-free on paper, it intentionally places you on a proprietary track, building momentum toward their specific ecosystem. You must recognize that you are paying to build an internal business case that heavily favors OptiU's ultimate high-ticket implementation. OptiU's Engagement Ladder kills the illusion of instantaneous wall-to-wall AI, forcing buyers to choose their first targeted operational decision wisely and earn their way to enterprise scale.